Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make a pumpkin bread and we're going to put some chocolate chips in it. Now, we actually have a pumpkin bread recipe up on our channel. It was one of the first ones that we did, and it's always been a pumpkin bread recipe that I've liked. However, one of the things I haven't ever really been able to find is a recipe that I like for banana bread. So over the last several days, I was looking at lots of different recipes and tweaking them here and there, and took a couple things from one, a couple things from another, and I made the banana bread, and it was quite yummy. So Wade's agreeing. So I thought, if this recipe is good as a banana bread, I bet it'd make a really good pumpkin bread. And besides, I didn't have any ripe bananas to make the banana bread, but we will do that. So, all right, this is a relatively quick recipe. We're gonna go quickly over the ingredients because there's a couple things I want to point out that I've learned over the years when cooking. All right, so this isn't one of them, but of course it's a pumpkin bread. So the first thing we're gonna need is pumpkin puree. So unsweetened pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling, because that has added sugar. The pumpkin puree only has, it doesn't have any added sugar. All right, now the one thing that's really important in this is you do want to use the correct amount. So for this recipe, we're gonna need 1.5 cups. Now, I've got the big can here that I've taken some out because this was so good. If this comes out good, we have not made this yet, so hopefully when we're sitting down for our tasting, we'll be happy with it. But I'm going to make a couple of them over the next couple days, freeze them. That way we'll have them for the upcoming holidays. One of the other important things with this recipe is you need a minimum 9 by 5 inch bread pan. All right, this one happens to be 9.25 by 5.25. It works perfectly. So that's the one I'm going to use. That's the one I used when I made the first banana bread. But you need at least a 9 by 5. If you go smaller, do an 8 by 8, it's not gonna cook right. You're gonna end up with a raw middle. So try to use at least a 9 by 5 metal pan. Now you could also use a glass pan if you want, but sometimes with the metal pan, it will cook a little bit faster and it might get a little bit darker. So you want to keep an eye on that if you're using a glass pan, all right? And then you're gonna need some Pam or cooking spray. So this is the baking spray, not the cooking. Or you can butter and flour that yourself. The other thing is I've got our oven preheated to 425. And of course, this is all going to be in the written instructions. But, so we need some, now, of course, when I did the banana bread, I didn't add cinnamon and nutmeg, but I'm adding that into the pumpkin bread because it's those nice holiday flavors. So we need cinnamon, nutmeg, baking soda. We're going to need some vanilla extract and salt. All right. And now, this is one of the things I wanted to point out as we went through this. I have got melted butter here, guys. All right, so it's melted. I just melted it in the microwave. Now, normally when you make this type of bread, you use room temperature butter, and then you cream it. Well, in one of the recipes I came across, they used melted butter, and with the butter and sugar, with the 2 sugars, the white and brown sugar, they refer to it as making like a paste, which will, they said, according to their recipe, make your cake nice and moist, or your bread. And it was. All right. So then we need 2 large eggs. We need a cup of sour cream, or you can also use Greek yogurt. I used Greek yogurt in the pumpkin one, so I thought I'd try, in the banana bread one, so I thought I'd try the sour cream this time. Then you're going to need all-purpose flour, white sugar, light brown sugar, like I said, 2 large eggs, and we need some chocolate chips. Now, I would recommend using milk chocolate chips for the banana bread, pumpkin bread, when I'm getting old, only because, of course, the bananas are sweeter than the pumpkins. All right, so in the banana bread, I used semi-sweet chips. Semi-sweet chocolate. No, actually, I used dark chocolate, actually. Anyway, so I just put a little bit of flour in there. We're just going to coat them. This, theoretically, I guess, is supposed to help them not sink to the bottom. I usually do it. I don't know if it makes any difference, but we're going to do it. All right, and then you're also going to need a little bit more to sprinkle on the top. All right, I think we've got over all of the ingredients. I'm going to put this stuff away, and there's a couple of the things I want to tell you about this baking method. All right, let's get baking. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to butter and flour our pan. And the reason I always do this at this point, I don't know if you guys have done this, but I'll be baking and I'll be ready to get it in the pan and I wouldn't have buttered it. So anyway, I'm going to just spray this pretty liberally with our baking spray. And we can set that aside. All right, now, a couple of things I wanted to point out is sometimes, look at this, I just opened it, I already have flour over me. Sometimes when you're baking, or when we bake things together, I'm really kind of particular about how we put our flour in our cup. In this recipe, it's not that delicate, so you can just plunge your flour down there, tap it down a little bit, scrape it off to level it, and put it in your bowl. And we need 1 1/3 cups of flour. All right, and then we can go ahead and put all of our, we got our cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, and baking soda in here. All right, and then we just want to kind of get that all mixed together. I can already smell the cinnamon. So kind of get that moved around good. And combined, that should be good. We can move that aside. We can put this aside. All right, now, you certainly could use a hand mixer to do this. This is probably the most difficult part of this recipe because this can be hard to get to the point you want. I've got my granulated or white sugar in here and my light brown sugar. Just give it a little mix. Break it up a bit. All right, and then you want to get your pumpkin in there. No, I'm sorry. We want our butter in there first. So again, this is the melted butter. It's back to room temperature. It's not hot, so we don't have to worry about it cooking our egg when we put it in. All right, and then we want to mix that together till it forms kind of like a paste. So again, it's easiest if you can do it with if you don't have a stand-up mixer, use your hand mixer. You can do it by hand, but it does make it a little bit more difficult. So normally in this type of when you're baking a cake or cookies or something like that, generally the instructions are is to cream the butter and the sugar. So in this case, we're kind of making it like a paste. And I'm gonna say it takes probably a good 2 minutes on medium to get it all mixed in together. And the beater goes round and round and round. It's kind of like watching the clothes in the washing machine, huh? So what we want is the butter to absorb the sugars, or for them to melt into the butter. And that looks like a paste to me. We'll give the bowl just a quick scrape. Make sure we got everything in there. And we'll give it a couple more turns. Okay, that looks good to me. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's a paste. It reminds me of like marzipan or almond paste or something. All right.
It smells good.
It smells delicious, doesn't it? So then we got our puree, our pumpkin puree. That even smells good. So again, as you can see, there's really no liquid per se in this recipe, but of course this is our wet ingredient part. We'll get that incorporated. And let's just give it a quick scrape down, make sure we get everything moving. And we can add our eggs. I also have my vanilla in my eggs. And get those mixed in. Now, just in case, you might see a little bit of the egg solids in there. And it might, I don't know if the word might be, it might look like the fat is separated. Don't worry about it. That's the way it does it. Just take it out of that nice pumpkin color. All right, that's good. And our last ingredient is our sour cream. Or Greek yogurt, whichever you're using. And let's get that incorporated. And I would say, I'm going to turn it up a bit. Give it a couple seconds, we'll scrape down the bowl, and that should be ready. All right, now one of the things I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about is in looking at a lot of different banana bread recipes, there were a couple answers and these were, people asking questions of professional chefs, which I'm not. But someone had said that their banana bread is always dry. Well, there's enough liquid in this that's going to be hard for it to do it. But one of the chefs came back and said that, or bakers, is that the reason is that they're overworking their flour and the other ingredients, and that you should do it by hand opposed to whether a stand mixer or a handheld mixer. And it was kind of interesting the way they said it is, so even though we call it bread, we're not really making bread. It's really just a slightly denser cake when you think about it. And if you do it, if you mix it in the mixer, you're working the gluten too much, and that might be one of the reasons, which I don't know about you guys, but it makes perfect sense to me. So I'm going to do this by hand. So in saying that, we don't want to overwork it. Let's just start to get it in there. I put a little less than half in, and I think now we can put the rest in. So that makes sense. If you overwork flour or work it like you're making bread, you're developing the gluten. And in this case, that's not what we want to do. So you want to mix it as minimally as possible. And we really just want our flour to get absorbed into our liquid ingredients. So if there's a couple little lumps here and there, nothing to worry about. If you fold it in, and to me that looks good. Okay, so we got our little chocolate chips with a little bit of flour on them. I'm going to leave just about a handful out. Get them evenly distributed. So we're just kind of folding everything in. Julia Childs, she showed you how to fold. She would fold it around and cut down the middle. Fold it around and cut down the middle. All right, that looks good to me. We are ready to go in the pan. This bowl is extremely heavy. I remember now when I was making the banana bread, I remember, I should have used the lighter bowl. Just because, of course, I'm right-handed, and it's a little hard to hold on to the bowl and scoop it in. You guys know I don't like to leave anything in the pan, all that deliciousness that we work to make. I want in the pan. All right, we got a little spillage, but we can take care of that. All right, and then we just want to kind of even it out. don't want to necessarily bang this on the counter to even it, because that's going to cause all of our chocolate chips to go to the bottom. All right, I think that's good. Then we'll take our few remaining chips, sprinkle them around. Get over there. Not any in that corner. All right, so like I said, got our oven set to 325. We got our rack in the middle. Now I'm going to set my oven cook time on this for an hour and 15 minutes. All right, and I'll show you why in a moment. So in the middle of the oven and cook time. Now I'm going to set a timer with Google for an hour. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes. Wade's looking at the timer like I didn't do it right.
Make sure you get the right button.
Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 hour.
Okay, 1 hour. And that's starting now.
Okay, because I am almost certain it's going to take a complete, at least a full hour to get that cooked. The banana bread was exactly an hour and it was perfect. Like I said, I haven't tried this one yet, so we're going to give it, always allow that hour and 15 minutes, depending upon how accurate and consistent your oven temp is. All right, so we'll be back in 59 minutes and 25 seconds and see if it's done. See you in a bit. Okay, I checked it at an hour and I felt it still needed a little bit more time, so I've let it go another 5 minutes. It certainly looks good. It smells good. And I think it should be cooked. Yep. So our stick has come out relatively dry. We got a little spring. All right, that looks done to me. Okay, so now we want to let this cool for a good 10 minutes or so. All right, and then we'll turn it out. So put it on our rack, let it cool down, for between 5 and 10 minutes. And then we're gonna let it cool some additional time. Or if we go to cut it when it's too hot, it's just gonna fall apart. And we'll see you in a little while. We're back and we are ready to taste my new recipe for this pumpkin bread with chocolate chips.
It smells wonderful.
It smells wonderful. It looks wonderful. It still might be a little warm, but let's give it a, well, it's not that warm. Let's give it a taste. Of course, this would be great with butter or cream cheese or something on it, but we're going to try it just like this.
Wow, that is so moist.
That came out very good. I don't really think there's much I will need to tweak on the recipe, but
No?
oh, it's got a nice pumpkin-y taste. The sweetness from the milk chocolate. Like you said, that is moist.
Yeah, practically melts in your mouth. Seriously.
Very good. Well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching us make this. I hope you'll make it. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my pumpkin bread.
Please like and subscribe. Check out cherryhillhomecooking.com and we'll see you in the next video.
Ciao.
Bye.
Delicious.
Come on, great.